Um, I reworked some of the exercises and due dates and stuff, so I think it's making sense now, but I can't promise. But what I want to do today is work on this idea of tabular text. Not surprisingly, I'm going to introduce it, you're going to work it, and then you'll build it, and then we'll play with it. And along the way, I'm going to, at the end of the day, I embedded a reading into this that you can take a look at, and then you can begin to use that for annotation. On Thursday, we're going to come back to this concept of annotation, so we'll review those, and then I'll set you up for the work that you're going to do for the 2 weeks following this week, which is to write about hypertext and hypertextuality, and write in TiddlyWiki in a sort of structured hypertextual way about hypertext. But I wanted to take a step back again and go back to these tables, because that's kind of what we're thinking about. So, and I kind of like the way that it worked the other day when someone else generated a set of directions, although I'm not sure how successful it was in terms of a exercise, but we'll work. So instead of me sort of leading, I'll have somebody else kind of lead the way. So somebody wants to volunteer, and it's a pure voluntary thing here. If nobody volunteers, then we'll just sit here and look at each other. But the value of volunteering is that you end up with the exercise done. So somebody want to drive the screen for us? Yeah, so go ahead and log into the Zoom room, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And when the other Steve gets there, then we can go. Actually, I should hear you come in, so I'll share my screen in the meantime and kind of look at this. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Wikipedia has lists, and you can search for Wikipedia lists and get to their list of lists of lists. Okay, so Wikipedia has tons of lists. And what we're really looking for is that you, Steve? Yeah, what we're really looking at, yeah, you can stop your video if you want, and we'll come to you in a second. What we're really looking for is a table. And let me see if the one that I was playing with the other day was Wikipedia mountains, I think. Highest mountains on Earth. And that's a table. Okay, so that's a Wikipedia table. And what we're going to do is ingest that table, or any table that you can find anywhere, in fact, but we're going to find them on Wikipedia. We're going to ingest them to a spreadsheet and then to TiddlyWiki. Okay. So before we kind of do that, let's just think about the logic of what it is that we're trying to build. So how would you translate intellectually, not in terms of code, but how would you translate the idea or the representation of this table into TiddlyWiki, into a wiki? So take a step back. Remember, what's the object model of TiddlyWiki? What are the objects in TiddlyWiki? We call them tiddlers. Okay. What's the equivalent sort of thing? What's the object model? Yeah?
Fields.
Fields. So what the question is, before you get there with the answer, is what's the object model of a table? So where would you find tiddlers in this table? First of all, what are the options here? So where can you find or see tiddlers? So what are the options? What's a table made up of? What are the elements of a table? What do you got?
Fields.
So Okay, show me what's a field in this table?
So like
Height,
range.
range, those are columns. Let's call them columns. Okay, so those are columns. What else do we have in tables? We've got rows. And what else? What's at the intersection of a row and a column? What do we call them in the world of spreadsheets? Cells. Okay, I just assume that you all have played with spreadsheets in your life. Is that a bad assumption? Is anyone who's like literally never touched a spreadsheet? You've all played with spreadsheets. So okay. So spreadsheets are made up of rows and columns and cells. Looking at this, what do you see as possible tiddlers? Can we make tiddlers out of columns?
We can make tiddlers out of cells.
You could make a tiddler out of every cell. So we might have a tiddler that would be called 1 and a tiddler called none and a tiddler called 1954. Okay. What would you know about that tiddler? If we had a tiddler called 1954, what would you want to know about that tiddler? Back to Steve's idea of fields, what fields would you want in that tiddler?
The first ascents to specific mountains.
So for this tiddler called 1954, which by the way, we're not going to do, but it's a good idea, but we're not going to do it today. You might want a field that would tell you what column it came from and a field that would tell you what row it came from so that you could place it in context. Okay. What if we were to think of each row as a tiddler? So if this becomes the tiddler, what would you name that tiddler? Yeah, Steve?
Well, I originally would have named it the mountain.
Okay. And let's hope that they're unique. And they probably are, right? If there's a list of mountains, there's probably one mountain per row and probably not 2 rows with the same mountain. Okay. So we've got this tiddler. We'll call this this one. So the tiddler, what's the name of the tiddler? What's the name of the field that holds the tiddler's name? Use it all the time. It's called title. So in this case, the title of that tiddler is going to be Makalu. What fields is that tiddler going to have so that it can represent everything we know about Makalu?
Height.
It's going to have a height. In fact, what we're going to do is, if we use mountains, and we'll do mountains as a demo, instead of height, we'll have meters, 8485, and feet, 27,838, and prominence, 2378. Anybody know what prominence is in terms of a mountain? I don't either. It's going to have a field called range, which will have that value, and a field called coordinates, which will have that value, and a field called parent mountain, which will have Mount Everest, and a field called first ascent, which will be 55, and ascents _ failed, which will be 45 space parentheses 52. So what we're aiming at is ingesting this table into TiddlyWiki so that we can have one tiddler per row and all of the values in the various columns in the fields of that tiddler. Why would we want to do this? I picked mountains. Why do people climb mountains? Because they're there. Why do we want to do this? Because it's there. Because we can. No, there's maybe a slightly better reason for that. Why would we want to do this? Could we tell a story about the world's highest mountains that's different than that table? That's a big table. 108 lines, 108 tiddlers. Could we tell a story about that? What story might we want to tell about mountains? The highest mountain is this. The 50th highest mountain is that. The mountains of China are these. We could begin to tell stories that would wrap words around values. This is not too dissimilar than the one you did with, the one that I demoed with dogs and that you guys did with pets and games or whatever it was. You told stories using a template. So we're just going to bring in some external data and tell a story about these mountains and but basically we're going to do it because it's there and because we can, and because it will allow us to potentially, over time, if we get there, you could imagine a project where you would begin to write a visual representation of Wikipedia tables in a generic form so that you could just do this for any Wikipedia table that you wanted to and tell a story about data that's kept in tabular form. Okay, so that's the basic introduction. Just to review, what are the steps that we're going to have to take, do you think? We've got this Wikipedia page over here on the left where you start, and you want to end up with a TiddlyWiki with mountains in it, and we're going to ingest it through a spreadsheet. So what are the steps? We have to go from Wikipedia to spreadsheet, from spreadsheet to TiddlyWiki. Okay, and then once we've got the data in TiddlyWiki, we've got to write a template in TiddlyWiki to tell a story about our tiddlers. Okay, you ready? I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to make Steve do all the work now. Okay, so go ahead and share share desktop 1 so that we can be sure to see it. And I can go to full screen. Oh, where's full screen? Okay. How come yours isn't? Yeah, it's good enough. Okay. So I think I can carry around my laptop, also known as a portable microphone. And James, you just put something in the chat if you stop hearing. Okay. Let's work on the spreadsheet half first. So go to your Wikipedia or a Wikipedia. And you guys want to just do mountains since we talked about that? Is that okay? It's kind of boring, but you can do it with any table. So go to see if you can find that table. List of highest mountains. I think that's what it is. Yeah. And is that the table? Yeah, there it is. Okay, grab that URL and copy it and go to your spreadsheet in tab 2, your spreadsheet. Yep. Okay. And what I suggest you routinely do is go down to line 2. And I don't know if you've ever used formulas in spreadsheets, but formulas in spreadsheets begin with an equal sign. So up in that formula bar, which is right there. Thank you, Steve. And the formula, no space. And the formula, yeah, I'm sorry, it looked like you put a space in there.
No.
Is import HTML. And if you type IMP, it should bring up import, keep going, import HTML. Yep. Okay, now let's just sit there for a second. It's way cool, okay? You basically want that formula, import HTML with the parentheses, the quote, the URL from Wikipedia, comma, table in quotes, comma, and the table mount. And you don't know the table number. I think in this case it's 4, but I might be wrong. And close it, and hit return. And if it doesn't work, It didn't work, right? So let's get to something else. So let's go back to your Wikipedia page and go to the top. And which table number is this? I think maybe it's table 1. Sorry, so try table 1. It looks like it's the first table on the page. So replace the 4 with a 1. Nah, I guess it's not. So it's a little funky. I don't quite get it. It's table 3 according to James. He's ahead of us. So try it as 3. We did this last night. You think I'd remember? Okay. If you ask me, that's like worth the price of admission for the day.
That one's pretty cool.
That's like way cool, right? So now, in the spirit of hypertext, where we've got data that we can play with and manipulate, you can now mess with that data, okay? It's on an import HTML. If you want to save it and mess with it, it's a little different, but we're going to keep it right there. And why did we skip row 1? Okay, because in row 1, we're going to put the name of our TiddlyWiki fields. And we're going to retype them because, as you see in columns C and D, height 3 is going to screw us all up. So we can't use their names. Let's use our names, and let's rename each of these fields. So go to A1, and field names in TiddlyWiki come in lowercase, so let's put them in lowercase. Yeah, Ben?
How do you get that into the actual spreadsheet?
Yep, so go back and let's do that again. So erase that, Steve. Or you can just keep it. You don't have to erase it. Okay, so it's equals import HTML, and it should bring up the demo for you. You know, yeah. Okay. So did everybody get that? Did that work for everybody? Everybody got a spreadsheet in their thing? Yeah? How do you pull up? Oh, man. Like, where were you 10 minutes ago? How do you pull up a spreadsheet?
Google Drive.
Google Drive, yeah. Do you have to log into your Google account? That's a good question. Yeah, but you got to be right there. Yeah. I'm going to wait for Mickey. He's going to catch up in a second. Blank spreadsheet. And then in A2, cell A2, so go down a row and type import equals import HTML.
Equals import HTML.
Yep. And that should pull up a, yeah, and then follow those directions. So you might want to paste the Wikipedia page that you've got in your buffer and put it in quotes, and then comma, then the word table in quotes, comma, and then in this case, if we're doing mountains, it's table 3.
And does that work in Excel too? Or?
Yes, that works in Excel as well, I think. I don't know, I just use Google Sheets because I know everybody can get it. They're on different computers, and that way you'll get it at home, and so I don't have to mess with HTML. Okay, so you're doing, so let's go across and name those fields, and let's call the first one rank, and the second one mountain, and the third one meters, and the fourth one feet, and prominence. And so that's a little weird. I don't like that Google Sheets does that. It's going to fill it in if it already has something. So you have to manually get rid of all that extra stuff. Yeah. And range, chords, if you want. Yeah, you can get rid of that extra stuff and get rid of that capital. It's a little annoying.
If you just put a space at the end of the word.
Put a space at the end of it, yeah. Parent, space. Yeah, you don't need the whole thing. Yeah, just keep them in single words. It's a little easier to deal with. And first, and number of a sentence or something. And if you're going to, number a sentence is fine. Yeah. And country. Yeah. I think that's it, right? Yeah. So those are our field names. And go ahead and name this, my mountains. That's good. And I'm going to let Mickey and Marguerite catch up and wait for them to make sure that they're getting So I don't want to go too far until I see everybody's got a spreadsheet going. Here's, so look at what's the command that you have? You have your table number in quotes, I think. You don't want it in quotes. The word table is in quotes, but not the table number. Yeah, I think. You want it just like Google Sheets gives it to you. Yours isn't running either?
Yeah, it's still having
You got an extra space. So there you go. Right there. Yeah. That should work. Oh, so you got, so what are you missing? You're missing a comma between this. See, it's pretty specific. Commas, quotes, and stuff. It's like you'll, there you go. Yeah, you got two close parentheses at the end for some reason. Yeah. Okay. So, where's your spreadsheet? So yours is working. Okay. Now, everybody else got Ryan, not Kyle? Yeah, yours working? You're doing different? That's fine. You can do whatever you want. Okay. So save it. And the way that TiddlyWiki does imports, it imports from an XLSX file. Okay, so SLSX is a format that Microsoft Word open sourced. So it's a common open source format, and Google Sheets writes SLSX files, and Excel natively creates SLSX files. If you're doing this in Excel, you don't have to do this export. It saves a whole step. If you're doing it in Google Sheets, Steve forgets that he's sharing with everybody. You can go File, Download as SLSX. Okay, and it will put it somewhere. It will put it where you've asked, and on your download, which is in the lower left-hand corner of your browser, you can hit that little up arrow and show in folder, and that's where it's going to be. It's in your downloads folder, okay? So just know where it's going to be. This is called My Very Own Mountains. Okay, so once you download this, it's ready for import. If you do it directly in an Excel file, you don't have to do this download as. It just slightly different way. Okay, does everybody have a downloaded SLSX file that they're ready to work with? Okay, and then we'll do this again. We'll run through the whole thing again. Okay, now back in TiddlyWiki, we have to do plugins. This is a new thing that you've not used before, and this is really where you get to do some powerful stuff and benefit from other people's work. Lots of people write plugins, and the way you get them, this is what I'm going to show you here, is you click on the control panel, which is the wheel in the middle, and plugins, which is the fourth tab, and get more plugins. There is a small plugin library that, luckily for us, has both of the ones we need, and open the plugin library and search for SLSX, XLSX. There it is, and install. And you also have to search for JS, there it is, wrapper for JS zip, and install that. Two plugins, JS zip wrapper and SLSX, and save and reload. And you have to reload in order for the plugins to work. And then you can go to your control panel, and there should be a tab that says SLSX Utilities right across the top. And it's right there. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to wait till I see everybody get something that looks like that. Okay, so to do that again, so what Steve did is he's going to do it again. He went to the control panel. He clicked on plugins. He clicked on get more plugins. He searched for two of them, SLSX and JS zip. And when he's got them, you don't have to load them again. You can hit close. And when he's got them, he goes to his control panel. There's an SLSX utilities, which he clicks on, and it gives this wonderfully colored screen. And I can see it. Has everybody got it? Everybody there? Yeah. Okay. This utility is a little funky and takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you get the hang of it, it goes pretty quickly. And if you think back to the way I introduced the workshop, columns, rows, and cells, all of those features and concepts are going to be critical now. Okay, so to start, we add a new workbook. And we're going to call it, in the caption, down below, where it says new workbook, let's call it mountains, or whatever it is you're building. Okay, and then let's add a new sheet. Okay, and then the sheet name, oh, we better go back to our spreadsheet. And the sheet name is the name of the sheet in the lower left. In this case, it's called Sheet 1. It's always called Sheet 1 unless you change it. Okay, if you get to the point where you start importing results from a Google form, it's called Form Responses 1, which is what I do when I import your submission. So it's called Sheet 1, precisely as it's written. And that's exactly as it's written. Sheet 1, no spaces, capital S. Okay, and now let's add a new row. And this conceptually bothers me a bit because we're adding a new row to your import, but what we're really doing is adding a new class of tiddlers. So in our case, the new row is equivalent to the rows in our spreadsheet, and each one of them is going to be a mountain. So we added a new row, and you don't have to name it, and then add a new field. And I suggest that you always name the first field title. You can close your sidebar, Steve. That will give you a little bit more space to work with. Yeah, okay, so let's take a look at, we're in the purple. And this is as complex as it gets, but what we're going to do is we're going to set the field to a field name that we type to, and before you get there, just hang on with me for a second. That's fine. You can do set field title. Go ahead and you can do that. And we're going to set it to a string and do that pull down. The options are string or date. Most of the time we're going to be doing strings. And it's from column or a constant. And in this case, all of them are going to be from column until we get to the tag. So leave it as from column. And now you need the column name from the sheet, which I think is called, where's your title going to come from? Mountain. And these, and you have to, yeah. It's lowercase because we named your field lowercase mountain. And these have to be, these are case sensitive, space sensitive, very sensitive. Did anybody take my advice and get a clipboard buffer? I didn't think so. If you had a clipboard buffer, you could go back to your spreadsheet and click in column A1 and highlight it. Get the whole word, so double click in it.
I did.
Yep. And hit, what do you want, a Windows machine?
Yeah.
Control C, tab, Control C, tab, Control C, tab, Control C, tab, Control C. So you'd have them all in your buffer, and then when you went back to your work, you could just navigate through them. So you wouldn't have to go back and forth. But you didn't, so you have to go back and forth. You can remember rank, mountains, meters, feet, prominence, range, coordinates, parent, first, or sense, or you can divide your screen in half. So you can have a visual of both. You guys are not adept at divide. There you go. Now you're getting there. Yeah. Okay, so we did the first one, and skip this field when the tiddler is blank. You do that for the title. So, for example, row 3 doesn't have a mountain listed. It's not going to create a tiddler for it. Okay, let's add a new field. And now we'll go straight across, rank, mountain, meters, feet, etc. So set field rank. And you can tab from column rank and add a new field. You don't, no, don't skip. No, only skip on the title. And repeat for mountain. You can have a field called mountain and the title either way. Meters is fine, yeah. I just kind of keep it in there because it's useful, and now add a new field. Meters. Now you see why it would be helpful to have them all in your buffer. You'd just be navigating, cutting and pasting the same thing. So you keep going, feet. And Steve's doing the risky thing of typing, which makes sense, but you know, if you miss type, it's going to be, you'll screw up. Ordinates, parents first in a sentence, right? Country's last one. Okay, and then make your wiki full screen. So, pardon? I think you could.
There was an extra one in there sometime.
Okay. Okay. The all of these tiddlers need a tag. My operating principle is that most tiddlers, maybe all tiddlers, should have a tag. So let's add a new field. And instead of set field, it's append to list field. And the name of the field is tags. And instead of a string, it's a constant. Oh, sorry, string, sorry. Instead of from comma, it's a constant. Let's give every tiddler the same value as its tag. Let's call it, I don't know, mountain. That's fine. Okay. And I think we're done. So now you can scroll up a teeny bit into the pink, and there's a checkbox, really subtle check mark on right there. Okay, and what this does is now it gives you a visual of what you're doing. And so what we're doing is we're going to append to the list field tags the constant mountain, set the field country to the value from column country, etc. So you can visually look at that. Looks good to me. So scroll up and save the yellow. There's a check box on the yellow. And yep, and save the workbook. Yep. And now what I like to do is up in the, this is the import specification that will be used for the next import. Do that, mountains, and you have to select that. If you don't do that, it won't work. And you've done a lot of work now, so I like to save the wiki before it crashes. So you might want to go ahead and save your wiki. It won't automatically save because you've not created new tiddlers. Okay. We ready? This is exciting. In the toolbar is a new tool that you've never used before that I'm aware of. You can click on Tools, and there's a little paperclip toolbar that says Import, and you can bring it out to the main menu by clicking the tick box to the left, and now you've got an import. So click on the paperclip and navigate to your Downloads folder, wherever you put your spreadsheet, and it sort by date modified. It should be the most recent one. My very own mountains, and click open, and look at that, it worked first time. And click import. Don't forget to do the import, and you'll see them all import. It kind of imports in this, I don't know why this does this, but click on any one of those mountain names, And let's edit the tiddler. And it's got fields. So how's it working so far? So we missed ascents, coordinates, and country. Looks like we got feet. I don't know what we missed first. We've got the mountain, we missed the parent. So we're doing okay, but not perfect. So this is the negotiation, if you will. So now you go back. So let's figure out why we're missing ascents, coordinates, and what else were we missing? First. And parent. Okay, so go to the control panel, XLSX utilities, and set country to value from country, set ascents to column ascents. I think, let's look at your spreadsheet. I think what happened was we gave you bad advice. Make that full screen. And click on ascents. And there's a space after the word ascents, I bet, that we need to backspace over. So click in the editing bar, yep, and get rid of this, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Country. So it's very particular. That was Jillian's advice, which was deadly. I kind of knew it at the time, but I wanted you to, I mean, it
was a learning experience.
Well, what happens is that you're used to just having extraneous spaces that don't matter, but they matter. Yeah.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
It's putting every single one of my fields into a box with the red text instead of just the text.
Okay, wait 1 second. Yeah, let me come back to you. So Steve was right. Anytime you save the spreadsheet and make modifications to your spreadsheet, you have to download it again. Okay, and back in your, I'm gonna come there. I have found that there's a bit of a bug in this program, and it only lets you import once without a reload. So you have to hit reload. You have to reload the spreadsheet, and then you should be able to import it again. We'll come to Ben's in a second. And you always want to import your most recent one and import, and let's pick a mountain. And now we should have all the data. Okay. That's pretty cool, actually, right? That you can navigate data like this. So can you join the Zoom group, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead and join the Zoom group. And while you're doing that, Steve, do you have another template tiddler in here? No templates?
I just made this.
Oh, okay. So go to Design Right. And I have a tab called Display, and Display lets you hide your tiddler titles, subtitles, and tags. Also has a list of all my templates. So grab any one of those templates over, and we'll come to you in a second, Ben. Just drag one of the templates over. Random template, import it, and edit it. Rename it to Mountains template, and get rid of everything after the first line. You can get rid, get rid of all the rest. Yeah. So is current, it's not suffix, we should have taken another one, is current tag mountain. And I think it's capital mountains, but I'm not sure. Scroll down to your,
That's correct.
huh? Yep, capital mountain, okay. So hit on the next line. Let's just put the, I don't know, what do we want? Feet. So to transclude a field from your tiddlers, double curly braces, 2 exclamation points, feet, comma, meters, comma, I don't know, country.
Good enough. Close the, put a break. Actually, you don't need a break, but you can put it anyway. And close your list. Okay. Yeah. And that's good. Let's save that and let's see if it's working. So now there it's working. Okay. So now you could tell any story you wanted to once you've got the basic structure. You can now tell a story about mountains. Okay. So why don't you stop sharing and we'll look at Ben's and then we'll kind of look at some others and see what you've been able to do. So you can go ahead and share your screen. We fired Steve. Thank you very much, by the way. It's helpful. And you are sharing your screen, Ben? Yeah. You're not. You're failing. You're getting there.
Like, everything's like that.
Okay, so let's edit the purple, the pencil and the pink, sorry. Okay, so what you've got is, let's see, set field, capital C, country to string from column. Yeah, so you put everything in your suffixed fields.
Oh, okay. I see that.
Yeah. And by the way, if you put, and the prefix and suffix, if you put something in the prefixed field or the suffix field, it's going to add the contents of that field ahead of the value, which might be helpful and, desirable. So that's why, yeah, you want to clear your suffixes. I don't think you want them.
Yeah.
But you have to clear the value of things in suffix?
Yeah, I was just gonna do this.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to see if it's going to work, so we'll. Is it capital C country your column name?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one that is.
Yep. And so let's, yeah, technically you actually don't need to save it, but I do anyway. And you don't have a tag on yours, so you might want to add another field for tag. So, and so it's append to list field. The first column is append to list field. And the name of the field is tags, T-A-G-S. And instead of a string, that we still want it to be a string, but instead of a from column, we want it to be a constant. And the constant is whatever you want it to be, but let's call it mountains. Okay, and now you can go ahead and finish editing. And do you have a title field? I don't see a title field. Add field. If you don't have a title field, yep, so the field name is title. And the string from column mountain, I think. Okay, and you can finish editing now. And so you should see, yeah, that looks, you need to have a title field, otherwise the tiddler won't have a name. So now let's go ahead and do the import.
So.
On the pull down, right up in the purple section, there's a pull down right there, up right the very first thing, yeah? Yeah, you have to select that. And you can drag and drop the spreadsheet onto the wiki, or you can do the import. So I'll do the import. So expose your sidebar and click on the paperclip import. And that did not work. That worked before.
Yeah.
So hit reload. Reload your spreadsheet.
Just the whole thing.
Yeah. I have found that, wait a second. Don't reload. Save your changes first. Yeah. I think there's a bug in the plugin and it only does an import once. So it's kind of annoying. Every time you make a mistake, you have to reload it again. Now you should get the paperclip.
Still doesn't.
I don't think you're getting the full spreadsheet name, so click on the paperclip again and navigate to the file.
That's it.
Yeah.
Still doesn't.
Can I see you do the export again of the spreadsheet? Where's your spreadsheet? We're looking for your spreadsheet.
Oh.
Close it.
So there's those.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go across the top. Okay. So we've got rank, mountain, meters, feet, prominence, range, coordinates. Maybe you want to trim off the extra stuff in the word coordinates.
Yeah, every single one after that point. Just
Yep. Well, because it's filling in. Yeah. Keep going. Backspace more. Backspace more. Yeah. Okay. And if you're going to put that in there, then your field is going to be called first ascent, and then you need country. And make sure you don't, yeah. And then save it, give it a name. Okay, you don't need to do that, I suppose, but you can go download as. Untitled spreadsheet. Okay, so now try the import. Country isn't lowercase. That's all right, James. So now go back to your wiki. And let's look at your control panel for XLSS and make sure we've got it right. So scroll down. So we've got mountain. Set the field capital country to value from capital country, ascents, first ascent. Okay, so look at the first ascent. So edit, you have to edit this. Yeah. No, you don't want to do it that way. You want to hit the edit. Yeah. And the column is first ascent, and you have a space in your column. So not there. The field name is correct, because that could be anything. But the next, you have a space there, first space ascent. And I think you had parent space mountain on the next one down. Not there.
Not that, yeah.
Yes, get rid of that. But yeah, get rid of the space in the field name. Yeah, I think the rest is good. So now save it. Keep saving all the way up. Finish editing all the way up. Save the wiki. Reload it. And now, and can you put it on list mode? Just the untitled spreadsheet one, that'll work, yep. Why doesn't yours
Yeah, this
import?
doesn't want to work.
Can I see your control panel? I think I know why. Go to your control panel and plugins. You've got it right there on the left. Click on plugins. On the left. Control panel, yep, plugins. And scroll down. Got JSZip and SLSX. You got both. I don't know why yours isn't working. That's pretty weird. It won't import. None of yours is. So what are you doing differently than Steve? You got the same plugins,
Basically the same spreadsheet.
same spreadsheets. That shouldn't be about the spreadsheet. It has to do with.
Whenever I keep doing it, it says that in the yellow there isn't a diff, but I keep looking it over at the Excel.
So in this you have a problem?
Yeah, each time I have a problem.
Sheet 1, mountains. Open up the workbook mountains. Scroll down, sheet 1.
Well, that wouldn't be a problem with the import, because the workbook is just
Yeah,
creating its own thing.
yeah, exactly. But I just wanted to, And who does it work for? Did yours work, Mickey? You getting fields? Marguerite, yours worked? Okay. So we'll do, Brandon's worked. Andrew, is yours working?
I think I lost a step, so I
Yeah, it's yours work. Jillian's works. Chris, did yours work?
was behind, so.
Okay, Derek, no. Okay, go back to control panel. What are we on here? Ben, and reload one more time for me. And click on bring out the import tool. Not that that'll matter, but it'll just be easier. By clicking on the checkbox to the left, hit cancel here. Just bring out the import tool so we don't have to go finding it every time. Yeah. And click open. And import that. Let's see what it tells us.
Which one, top, bottom?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, so it did work.
Yeah.
Okay. So it did work. So click on the mountain and edit that. Okay, so yours was working. It just wasn't giving you that list of imported fields.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the problem is the first center. So
Pardon?
I'm commenting to the first center.
Because first, so see if you can fix that by making sure that you're getting the right column name in your spreadsheet. I don't know. Yeah, you have to edit it. You can do it at the titler level if you want, but you can do it there if you'd like, but it's easier to do it there. Yeah. Look at your spreadsheet. I usually do copy paste. I don't retype because that site saves this problem. But where's your spreadsheet? First, and click on the first ascent A and see if you can get rid of that. So you've got a line return. So now hit space. Okay, that should work. Parent mountains. What was the other one that wasn't working?
Prominence.
Is there a space after the word prominence?
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is. Okay.
So that might have fixed it.
Yep. And don't forget you have to download it again. So stop share and let's look at Derek's. Derek, are you in the meeting? Yeah. Can you join the Zoom meeting? Kyle's yours. Ryan, is yours working?
No.
Can you join the Zoom meeting? Yeah, and Steve, you might drop out of the Zoom meeting. And Chris, is yours? Are you there? Andrew, you're behind, right?
Yeah.
So you can join. You're in the Zoom meeting, so go ahead and share your screen while we're waiting for Derek to join. You have to stop sharing.
Yeah, how do I do that?
Click on Stop Share. Big red.
It was just on the top.
Yeah, top, bottom, yeah. So yeah, so you've got your Hall of Fame players. Good, nice, I get it. My preference on the field names is one-word field names. It just makes it a little easier. Vote percent, that's going to be funky.
I mean that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep. Okay, so that looks good.
What do I do?
File download as SLSS. And okay, it's probably in your downloads file. And so now in your wiki table, so you added a new. Oh, so you're way back. Okay. So
Yeah,
add a
this
new
is
workbook.
for-
Yeah. Add a new workbook.
That's-
Yep. So give it the caption of Hall of Fame. And then add a new sheet, and it's sheet 1. And add a new row, and then add a new field. And then the first field is title. So set field title. And what's the column that's unique?
So this is what is this?
Title, T-I-T-L-E, lowercase. And then from column name. So that you're good. Yep. And then what's unique? Is it name or something? Name. And then you want to keep going. Skip this to when the field is blank for title only. Yep. And then you want to keep going for each column. So you might find that helpful to have on your left side of the screen so you can see your columns. Yeah. And it's capital, so case sensitive, it's not capital year. You're on row 1, not row 2. Yeah. Okay, and then add a new field and you can continue on with the other columns. So we'll come back to you while you're doing that, so stop your share. And then Derek, you're up. Did you get yours to work?
I have found them.
So you want to go ahead and share your screen? Okay, what happens when you import? Nothing. So hit your control panel. Oh, okay, and do plugins. And you've got JS-zip, so save this. And import again. Did you download Atari 500 games?
Yeah.
Okay. Missing sheet. Okay, so you renamed your sheet in your Google Sheets, or no? Okay, let's look at Control Panel for XLSS utilities and edit the workbook, so the green pencil. And you're looking for sheet Atari 2600 games. But what you're, okay, that's fine. And then edit the sheet in the yellow. And you're looking for sheet Atari 2600 games, but really let's look at your spreadsheet on the right. And pull that up so we can see it. And what's the sheet name at the bottom? You have to make it pull all the way up so we can see to the bottom. It's sheet 1. Okay, so now you can just hit, you don't have to save them all the way through if you don't want. You can just hit the red save button. I like to do a refresh before you do an import. And now import again. You have to do you have to import it from the import button, the paperclip. Yeah. So, okay. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Yeah, are you sure that that's the right one?
Yeah.
What's the one above it?
That's one from before. I have to make a change.
Okay. So let's look at your scroll up and set field. I got to see the bottom of it. Sheet 1. And can I see your spreadsheet on the right? So it's click on the word go through each of your cells and row. Yeah, click up in the edit button. Okay, game title, click to tab to the next. No spaces. Okay, and that all looks reasonable. Edit in the pink on the wiki side. And set field title, the strength and column game title. Just double click in the game title to make sure there's not a space after that. That looks all fine. Yeah. Huh. Not getting any, but just go to your spreadsheet and do a download again. Okay, and then just scroll down and let's just double check the name of the sheet. You didn't change that, right?
Now it's a one.
Yeah, no, I meant go down and look at the name of the so in sheet.
It's still sheet 1.
That's still sheet 1. Okay, you didn't change that. Probably don't know how to change it, right? That shouldn't matter. So let's Atari 2600 games. Do the pull down on the import spec in the purple. You close that import tiddler. And do a pull down on that. There shouldn't be anything other than that, right? Okay, that's good. Atari 26. And now click on the import. And but why is that one coming up on top? Okay, that's
Space.
all right. Yep. You're not getting anything. And just reload that again. Try it one more time. Wait a second. Missing sheet. Atari 2600 games.
Mine does the same thing.
Scroll down. Okay, close up the sheet 1. You don't have a sheet 2, right? Just close that. Huh. I hate this with stuff. And search for one of your games. what's with the, not a quote, is that just, oh, I don't know if you can have quotes in tiddler names. Weird, because it might not, that's weird. Create a new tiddler, see if you can put a quote in a tiddler name, like acid drop. All right, so I guess you can do that. Try it again. Refresh and try it again. Yes. You're getting a save. So refresh your wiki and try the import again. Yeah. Okay, so you're screwed.
I'll just restart from square one.
I have a feeling,
I probably missed something.
no, there's not, I don't see what you could possibly have missed. Thing that I see, create a new column in your spreadsheet and type, put field, and let's call it title, lowercase, and then in row, in the next one, type equals row, R-O-W, so equals row, R-O-W, open, close, paren. Yep, return. That's it. Hit return, hit enter. Go back up. I can't really see you. Go back up and fix that formula again. Equals row, not rows, row. Return. Okay, and then copy that formula from B2 all the way down to the rest of the rows. Keep going. There's a lot of rows. Okay, and then in your, over here in your wiki, go to the pink section. I'm sorry, I had to re-download your game spreadsheet. I forgot to do that. Give it a different name. Oh, okay, so it's fine. In your pink section, then add a new, on the wiki, add a new, all the way down in the pink, edit the fields, and add a new field, and set field title.
I mess up with.
Yep, we're going to change that. You're absolutely right, though. Set field title.
So am I making a new title or am I?
You're going to both. To string from column, what do we call it? Row. Lowercase row, I think. And then down at the bottom, set field game title. Change it to game title hyphen. Yeah, don't use caps. Change all your fields so that they don't have caps. I don't think you can have caps in field names. And save that. Save your wiki. refresh it, and import again. Making sure you import the latest version. You're still, go back to your plugins. We checked to see you had both plugins, right? I don't know, I'll have to play with that. Okay then. I don't know. Anybody else is not working? Ryan, same thing?
I think I figured out part of my problem, which Derek wasn't having. I had an issue with something. I had a space cap, like,
Do you field name inconsistencies?
yeah, but now I'm having. I can pull it up.
Yeah. Derek, try to reinstall those plugins. I use this all the time. Where'd you get your wiki from? Did you start a new one? A new, fresh tiddly spot? Yeah. So, Ryan, your field, all field names I think need to be lowercase.
Okay, I can use that.
Yep.
That seems to be the problem I'm having.
Okay, the other problem that you're having, Ryan, is that you don't have a title field. Did I miss it? No, you need a field called title, otherwise the tiddlers won't have a name.
I think I messed that up. That one.
So what are you going to use as your title field? Let's look at your spreadsheet.
Probably
I don't like that they come in with quotes.
I didn't like that. I didn't want to go through all.
Yeah, you know what you can do is in your, are you using Excel?
Yeah.
Okay. In your spreadsheet, do a copy replace. Maybe it's on. Insert. I think it's on insert. I don't know. They've moved everything. I haven't used this for so long that I can't. That's why I stopped using Excel, because I couldn't figure anything out. Maybe it's under home, under copy. Way to the left. There's a no. Wrap text. Find and select. Find and replace. Yeah. So replace a quote.
It's more like.
Oh, it's asterisks? Okay, yeah. And then replace all. All done.
I think it's just really much better.
Yeah, so hit maybe undo. Control Z. Yeah. So I don't know how you can get rid of those asterisks, but that shouldn't really matter. Okay, so sheet one, so let's go back to it. Make sure you save this. Okay, go back to your wiki. And now save the wiki. Refresh it. Don't reload yet. It didn't save yet. Yours isn't saving. There it is. Missing title field. So you're getting missing title field on every one.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So yeah, it's very annoying. You can ignore that. You can just refresh it. And click on your control panel and let's look at your, let's scroll down. So now you're set field title to, oh, you need a column name.
I was just trying to.
Yep. Yes, save it, refresh it. And then we're going to come to Andrew.
Yeah.
This is going to work. This is going to work now, I can tell. Ryan's is going to work. Yeah. Okay, so now hit it. So the click one of them. So the asterisks seem to work. Edit Tiddler. Okay, so you're not getting any. So you've got your fields, but your fields and columns are misaligned. So you're not getting the right column names. And also you're setting a tag to the. Go back to your control panel, and let's look at your. So scroll down, yeah, and you're setting field tags to the string from column creature, but you want to set it to a constant, to the string constant. So now append to list field tags the string constant.
Oh,
No, the string constant. There you go. Now you want to give it a creature tag. Okay, and then I'm not sure. Oh, you didn't fill in the rest of the column names.
oh.
Yeah, so you've got so many problems we don't know where to start. No, so I think we got yours. So at least it's working on the import. So stop sharing and we'll go to Andrew. Mickey, did yours work?
Yeah.
Cool. Margaret, did you get yours to work?
No.
Okay, so go ahead and join the meeting and we'll come to you next as soon as we fix Andrew's. And this is good to do this because hopefully we'll uncover all the problems that people could possibly have in the world. So
I have the same problem as Dan.
So hit save and refresh. And now import. It's not that I don't believe you, just that I don't believe you. So you're missing sheet space 1, so close that and edit your yellow. And because you're asking for it to read sheet space 1 instead of sheet no space 1. So save that. Derek, that's not yours, is it? We got you the right sheet name in yours?
Yeah.
You sure? That doesn't matter. The caption doesn't matter.
I just want to clean it up.
Yep. So save and refresh. And import. No. All right, let's see what happens when you import. There you go. Okay, so now I don't know why. So now those work. Okay, so edit one of them. Click on one of those names.
What is all this?
You've got some oddness in your data, but we can live with it, I think. So click on one of them. And so speaker, tris, speaker is what's in that column. And so you split out reference, team. Okay, so that's like what you asked for, right?
Yep.
Okay.
The only thing that didn't work was, but I think induction doesn't.
induction, go up to the top. I think it's capital I induction is the column name.
19.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to actually have some.
Yeah, it's lowercase I induction. And in your specification, I think you asked for capital I induction column. Go down to the purple. No, you're gonna have to fix something. Scroll down to the purple. I'm sorry, the pink. And column, where's induction column? It's not lowercase. No, you've got a capital I in induction.
Yeah, I just fixed it because it was lowercase, but
It's got to be, yeah.
this was originally.
It's lowercase in the spreadsheet, I think. So you fix it in the spreadsheet?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
It was originally
Yep.
uppercase. I just.
Okay, so now you should be able to import it again. And Margaret, are you in the meeting? Did you get induction to work, Andrew? There you go. Now it's working better.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can stop share. Okay, this took longer than I expected, but not too bad. So we're going to solve. So Derek, we still haven't gotten yours to work, right?
I restarted from square zero.
And it worked.
Yeah. I think
So what'd you do when you started from? Did you start a new tiddly spot?
I started
A whole new tiddly spot.
I didn't use the same table or anything like that. So I did a mountain.
Okay. I don't know. There might be some weirdness in that spreadsheet or something.
I have no idea what I did. 'Cause the first time I tried one out, it didn't work. And I tried it again, and then it worked out. So
Okay.
no idea what I've done.
I don't know. But it's working.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you've got a working spreadsheet, go ahead and create a template that tells a story about them and make sure you can get the template to work. And then on your own, you can do, should I make things more complicated? Yeah. So Margaret, are you going to join the meeting and share your screen? So you're bringing in the mountains, okay. So instead of field tags with a capital T, make it a lowercase t. And instead of set field, make it append to list. Okay. Nope, let's stick in the pink, in the purple. Parent coordinate range, map, height meters, height feet, okay. So let's look at your spreadsheet. Wait a second, where's your title? Title from column map. Okay, so let's look at your spreadsheet. And if you could zoom in a bit. Rank, mountain, height meters, height feet, prominence, range, coordinates, parent, person, sense, and country. Okay, and then just do a download as. Okay, and so then let's do the scroll up and save your wiki and refresh. And import. Okay, so before you hit that, close the tiddler. And let's look at your control panel. Okay, mountains. Okay, that's all good. So scroll up and do the import again. Oh, you got to refresh. Sorry. And click import there. Nada. Go to your plugins on your control panel. I don't know. I will send our video to our group and see if we can get the gurus to figure out what's going wrong, because there's clearly, I think we've got something beyond my abilities to fix, but it's weird that like it works for 8 out of 10 people. It's really, I can't, figure out what you've done differently. Scroll down, let me see if I can. The only field that should really matter is title. So let's look at the title field again. Make sure there's not a space after the word mountain there. Okay, and there's not. Go to your spreadsheet. There's no space after the word mountain there. Click on the above. Okay. M-O-U-T-A-I-N. Is that how you spell mountain? M-O-U-N-T-A-I-N. That should do it. So you have to download the spreadsheet again. So when you're not getting anything at all, like Marguerite was getting, then it's you have to try it. It wants you to refresh. Yeah, when you're not getting anything, then that's usually a sign that it's a problem in the title field. Make sure you, yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah. Did you open one of those tiddlers? And is there something in there? Yeah, okay. So if you got nothing, then it's a problem. And so, yeah, that was easy. Not easy, but annoying, right? Derek, yours works. Andrew, yours work now?
Yeah.
Okay, so the point of this is you can do it with some other tiddler that's of interest, or another Wikipedia table that's of interest, and see if you can tell stories about it. Let's do something slightly more complicated with Marguerite's data. Okay, because she's up there. Okay, go to your control panel and scroll down to the, let's add a new row in the yellow. Okay, so this is weird. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say every row of the tiddler, we're going to make a tiddler for every mountain. What other tiddlers could we make? Let's make a tiddler for every country. Okay, so add a new field and set the field title to the string from column country. And I don't remember if it's lowercase, right? Okay, and then add a new field and append to list field instead of set field. So append to list field tags the constant, the string constant, and the column, the value is country. Okay, so now we're going to have, okay, a tiddler created for every country, and it's going to be tagged country. Okay, so save this, save your wiki, refresh it, and import it. Same spreadsheet. Missing title field for tags country title, okay. That's probably okay, but so let's, okay, import.
Yes.
And now click on Nepal or Nepal, China, and edit that. And it's tagged country. So, so that allows us then, if you begin to think about what you're seeing here, so in Derek's example, he might want to bring in create a tiddler for every manufacturer, for every company. In Andrew's example, he might have wanted to create a tiddler for every team instead of every player. So it allows you to slice and dice your data slightly differently. In Marguerite's example, I think there were 180 some odd mountains. How many different countries are there? Okay, there's fewer than one per line because there's some repeats, but you're only going to get one tiddler for each country. Or in Andrew's case, one tiddler for each team. In Derek's case, one tiddler for each manufacturer. So that allows you to then begin to slice and dice the table in ways that Wikipedia can't provide. So now we're starting to get some functionality that you can't get out of a flat table. So if you think about it, I'm going to end here. If you think about it, what we've done is we've taken a flat table, a spreadsheet, and added some depth to it using tags and fields. And so now the rest of it is all up to you to play. Okay, I'll stop. James, you good?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay.